This is my second day running in the rain. Yesterday I did 6 miles during that huge torrential downpour thunderstorm that came through. And I decided to run along the road the whole time, which was a bad idea because, I mean, I didn't really even know that the storm was coming. I knew it was gonna rain, but then it just started to downpour. And that was as I was coming around like Milford near Shaw's, that area, running towards the Oval, down Amherst Street or Nashville Street, whatever. And the roads were just filling up with water. And so there were cars going by and I was just getting walls of water hitting me. It's a pretty intense experience, but I'm looking down at the puddles in the street and there's just so much oil. You know, they're like rainbow colored. And I'm looking at like cigarette butts and I'm just thinking about how I'm getting walls of water splashed on me. And it was really nasty. I went home and I was like, I mean, I took the deepest cleaning shower I've taken in some time. Mostly because like I just couldn't get the mental part out of me of like how I was covered in automotive oil and trash. So anyways, I'm out here this morning completing a little half marathon. We're about halfway through with it. And it's raining. And even though there's giant water puddles on the trail, it's very pleasant compared to yesterday. It's very quiet. The trail has been getting busier as the fall has picked up. I don't know if that's because of the ghost train that's gonna be on this in a few weeks, or the weather's just getting cooler. People are out walking their dogs more often. But anyhow, today it's real nice and quiet, real peaceful. The rain is nice. Just a very different run from yesterday. I'm definitely feeling my tired legs though today from yesterday's run, because I was doing a lot of jumping over puddles and high knees through big things of water. And so it's just a very physically exhausting run yesterday. And I did that at about, I don't know, 4 or 5 at night. Or yeah, I think I ended about 4. And then I'm up here this morning at about 8:30, hitting a 13. So my legs are feeling ready for a rest day after this. That's for dang gone sure. Another thing, while I have you, I've spent the better part of a year, well, I've spent a full year, spent a full calendar year of running every single week. There's only been 1 week out of the year that I have not run. So this past year has been very cardio focused. And because of my time allotment that I allow myself to dedicate to, you know, a fitness endeavor, I have completely given up almost entirely any kind of strength regimen. I haven't been to the gym. I haven't lifted any weight outside of a few workouts here and there. And this is the first year, this is the longest period of time in the last 8 years that I have done no strength training. So needless to say, I'm itching to get back into it, because you may not be able to tell from the last year, but I actually don't love running. I mean, I love running, but that wouldn't, if I had to pick one physical activity to do for the rest of my life, it would not be this. It would be being, well, to be totally transparent with you, it'd probably be CrossFit, but CrossFit is a little trickier to, I don't know, but CrossFit, you know, I just love the functional fitness aspect of it. I love the cardio, the built-in cardio aspect to it. I love the math, the, you know, weight moved over a set period of time, the way they kind of measure volume in CrossFit. Unfortunately, if I can go on a tangent about CrossFit, I believe CrossFit is one of the, it's such a fantastic discipline. However, at some point along the way, the culture around CrossFit became about pushing, like this kind of alpha brains mentality of like, go till you throw up. which is so counterintuitive to all the science around fitness. And so it has garnered this horrible reputation of being like associated with idiots and people who get injured and people who have huge egos and people who don't make progress or gains. And that is all totally true. There is a tremendous of that in the sport. I mean, from my own experience, I've been a part of CrossFit groups and gyms that have horribly disgusting cultures. And that was one of my first introductions into fitness, was through CrossFit. And it wasn't till later that, you know, like at the time I was working out every day. I was doing incredibly strenuous workout routines, lifting tons of weight, and I was seeing progress. But I wasn't, for the amount of effort that I was putting into my fitness routine through CrossFit, I'm like, why do I look so not huge, right? Not that that was ever the pursuit, but it always is a little bit, right? You always want the muscles for the work. And I was not getting that. But it wasn't until I stepped out of that world, started following more traditional fitness rules, that I realized the importance of form, proper lifting practices, rest. Rest is huge. You know, pushing your heart to its absolute maximum, pushing your body to your absolute maximum every day is not something you see professional athletes do. Most UFC fighters, most athletes in general, don't go their hardest until game day, until fight night, you know, because rest is so important to the body's ability to grow muscle, to hardwire activities into you, that if you have this mentality of, I'm gonna do my hardest workout every single day of the week, it becomes counterproductive, which is counterintuitive to a lot of like what we think about, you know. My heart rate is too high. I'm talking about this. I'm getting all passionate. When we think about getting fit, we kind of imagine this like Rocky 2, Rocky 1 montage in our head. And there's like this implication of the harder I work, the more results I'll get. But in reality, it's more, the more dedicated I am, for longest, the better results I get. And I struggle with that in a lot of ways. I find myself long-term often becoming very impatient, not because I'm not getting the results that I want, but because I'm not patient. Like, I don't want to run slow to run fast. I just want to run fast today because of that immediate feedback response that finishing a really fast workout does. But after, you know, months of that, you're still going the same speed. I don't remember at all what I'm talking about or why I even went off on all these tangents. Oh yeah, this is all to say I got a Planet Fitness membership. Wow, yeah, I got a Planet Fitness membership. And what I was going to say is, why does everybody hate on Planet Fitness? You know, I used to hate on Planet Fitness because I felt like that's what you were supposed to do. But as I've been exposed to more gyms, I just don't understand why people hate on Planet Fitness so much. Because I've been to many gyms here in Milford, Manchester, New Hampshire, all over the place. They're all pretty expensive. And I think most of the time you do get what you pay for with the gym. So I always advocate, if you can afford it and swing it, do it. Find a nicer gym. But if that's not an option for you, Planet Fitness is perfectly fine, okay? Yeah, they don't have like, you know, free standing barbells with free plates and all that. It's all, most of it's fixed weight. They have 1.5 billion treadmills. They give you pizza. They, I don't know, have a bunch of weird stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a cheap gym. And like, I just see the very fitness industry, which is always like, the gym is a super welcoming place. Turn around and be like, oh, you go to Planet Fitness, that's the pussy gym. And it's like, bro, what does it matter, dude? This person, you know, maybe this person is like not committed to the level that you are, or they don't make enough money to justify $60 a month to a gym that they may not go to for more than a month, and now they're committed to a year contract with your dumbass. God, so I'm running fast again. I gotta chill out. You get me talking about going to the gym, working out, you know. Next thing you know it, I'm like in a dead sprint. Next thing you know it, my heart rate's 137. I'm trying to keep my heart rate right now at 125. So just now I spiked up to 137, which is not where I want to be. I really don't want to be any higher than 130, but I want to be as close to 125 as possible. That's hard to do because the longer you run, your natural body's fatigue just elevates your heart rate. So even though your perceived rate of exertion can be the same, your heart rate can be higher. So you kind of have to run slower and slower and slower. And that's what makes it hard when you're calculating paces and distances, long distances, like marathons and beyond, is you have to account for the fact that no matter how good you feel, if you want to keep your body at a low heart rate, you have to run slower and slower as the day goes on. Thanks for letting me talk at you for a while. Thanks for joining me. It really does make the time go by faster when I can output as opposed to only input through, I don't know, podcasts or music. I should put you like this so it's like we're running together. High five. 8.3 miles. So what's that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So about 5 miles left. I think I'm gonna switch over from podcasts to music, which is always a great psychological shift. It's like, you're like, whoa, have you heard of this thing called music? Whatever. All right, that's enough for me. Bye.